Andrew Kaip joins us now. He's the co-head of mining research for BMO Capital Markets, and we are at the BMO Metals and Mining Conference, the 25th anniversary of this conference. Andrew, good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about sentiment. I know you have a good feelers for this, obviously, in your role. How is it different this year, or is it the same compared to last year?
Look, it's very different than it was last year. Last year, I cover the gold equities, and last year was a very difficult year for gold equities. There was some early optimism at the beginning of 2015, but it quickly eroded, and we saw a very difficult year in 2015 for the gold miners.
So let's talk about the price of gold. I know offline we were saying, Deutsche Bank comes out with a buy signal for gold, whereas we have, complete opposite from Goldman Sachs, very bearish with a $1,000 call for gold. I know BMO's sitting around 1050 currently for their forecast. So we really have a divergence of forecasts here. What does that say anything to you?
It does. I mean, we're dealing with competing views on how the U.S. economy is going to evolve and whether the contagion from the macro side is actually enough to prevent the Fed from further rate hikes. So remember, we entered the year thinking that there would be 3 or 4 subsequent rate hikes through the year. And we set our 1050 gold price assumption very much based on future rate hikes, and it would have a negative impact on the price of gold. Contrast that with what we're increasingly believing is a dovish Fed that is unlikely to raise rates through the remainder of this year. And if you think that way, then all of a sudden you can then begin to understand why gold has performed quite well thus far this year, and is probably going to stay in the $1,200 to $1,300 range for this year.
Do you think we'll see a global recession?
I don't think that we need to go that far to be constructive on the price of gold. I think we just need to be in a position where the U.S. or the global growth is probably more subdued than what we were expecting, and that is going to have enough of an impact on the U.S. to keep the Fed on the sidelines.
Good thoughts from you, Andrew. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us from BMO's Metals and Mining Conference. We'll have more coverage for you, so stay tuned to Kitco.com.